Welcome to TLE 031. Pasta is originally from Italy, consisting of dough made from wheat and water, extruded or stomped into various shapes and typically cooked in hot or boiling water. So ito yung example ng extruded. Meron siyang iba't ibang shapes at sabi pa nga sa research ko, meron siyang 360 na shapes. Next naman natin ay stamp. Ito yung mga ginagamit pang tatak na magkakaroon tayo ng iba't ibang shapes. Merong bilog, merong square, at pwede din mismo sa loob ng ating pasta. Pasta is often a go-to meal when we don't have a lot of time or creativity. So, yung pasta is napakadali nating lutuin or gawin sa bahay natin. So, it isn't cooked properly, it can end up to chewy or soft. Kapag sinabi natin chewy, yung parang madikit-dikit siya or para siyang bubble gum. Then, pag soft naman, tapos nagiging mushy siya, yun sobra-sobrang lambot. Which is kapag hinawakan mo or dinurog mo, pag chinek mo kasi siya, pag niluto mo siya, sobrang mushy na siya or para siyang nagiging pinakulo ng sobra-sobra. So, hindi siya pwedeng gawing ganon.
I will be discussing the most integral part of our module, preparing and cooking pasta. This module will all talk about pasta dishes. For general knowledge, pasta originated in Italy, and Italians are very particular on their pasta dishes. There are two major classifications of pastas, which are fresh and dried pasta. Fresh pasta is also called as pasta fresca, and the dried pasta is also known as pasta secca, which will be discussed on this presentation. And the common ingredients in making pasta is flour or semolina, egg or water for combining the dry ingredients. Alright, so have you heard of breaking pasta rule? Most Italians are particular in breaking pastas. They do not break pasta while cooking. Why? Because they believe that it's breaking their tradition. Extruder and stamp are commonly used equipment or tools in making pastas.
Good day to all of you. I'm Tristan F. Tomagan, and today I'm going to discuss about the history of pasta. It is said that historians are divided into the origin. It is a staple food in many cultures. So, it is doubtful that any one person or culture invented the pasta. A vast belief of intrusive thought dated about 400 BC or before Christ provides an early Italian connection, as it depicts equipment for pasta making. In 4 centuries later, pasta made an appearance in writing of Cicero, or these are the version of a Bible itself, wherein they mention about the pasta, who was known to be an extremely fond of tagliatelle. So, what is tagliatelle? Tagliatelle was a traditional type of pasta from Romagna and Marche region in Italy, where it has a long, flat ribbon and it has 6 mm wide pasta uses mostly in the carbonara. Although Marco Polo, an Italian merchant and explorer, was supposed to have brought noodles or pasta back in Italy, and it is clear that both Chinese and Italians were familiar long before its time. So he introduced the pasta during its exploration in Far East way back in the late 13th century. And we know that Italy was the origin of pasta, but also in China and other parts of Central Asia because we're known for its noodles. And so both pasta and noodles are similar in terms of methods and the ingredients, but difference in preferences. Pasta was originally called as macaronaro in Italy. So pasta from the world itself also paste, wherein it is made of flour, water, and eggs, which they are using in a method through mixing and kneading. So that's all about the history of pasta. So I hope you've learned something about this topic, and thank you and good day.
Thank you, Sir Tristan, for that discussion. And now we are about to discuss the shapes of pasta. There are four in our module. Small shapes for soups, extruded long pieces for boiling and saucing, sheet pasta for baking, and shapes that can be easily filled with stuffings. Small shapes pasta are common dito is yung mga elbow macaroni na ginagamit sa sopas. And extruded long pieces for boiling and saucing is basic yung spaghetti pasta and sa carbonara pasta. And for our sheet pasta for baking, is common ginagamit in lasagna. And last, shapes that can be easily be filled with stuffings. Yung mga, bakit nagkaroon ng shapes na nagkakaroon ng stuffings? Ang itsura nun is, parang envelope, malalagyan lang siya ng na filling sa loob, tapos na ibibring to boil para magamit for any type of dishes. And the most common example of shapes that can be filled with stuffings is ravioli. That would be all. And let's proceed to the next discussion.
Now let's move on to the food value. Durum wheat is also called a pasta wheat or a macaroni wheat. It has a 15% protein content which make it a good alternative for rice and potatoes for vegetarians. Now there are so-called whole grain pasta and refined pasta. The whole grain pasta is with higher in fiber, while the refined pasta is higher in iron and B vitamins. Pasta also contains carbohydrates in form of starch which gives the body energy. It contains gluten, which is the type of protein that can cause issue to who are with the gluten sensitive. It is also but still it is provide a good nutrients to our body. Next is the storage. If eggs are used in making fresh pasta, the fresher they are, the longer the keeping quality of pasta. When fresh pasta is correctly stored, it will keep for up to 3 to 4 weeks.
We all know that pasta is one of the most popular carbohydrate in the culinary world, and we have here a different type of pasta. These are dried durum wheat pasta, egg pasta, semolina pasta, and whole wheat pasta. The first type of pasta is dried durum wheat pasta. Durum wheat, on the other hand, is used in soft noodle products like spaghetti and lasagna to make the pasta softer and more flexible when cooked. Durum wheat semolina is the result of milling of durum wheat. Durum wheat only grows in the South Italy. Some different kind of wheat have got the memory of shape, so the protein of it, once you give a shape even after cooking, have ability to keep the shape even after cooking. The second type of pasta is egg pasta. From the word itself, egg, it is a type of flat pasta that differs from regular flour and water pasta in that eggs are added to enrich the dough. Egg noodles are made of unleavened dough that is cooked in boiling water. Generally, egg noodles are made with eggs and wheat or rice flour. Sometimes, arrowroot in Tagalog and tapioca starchers are added to enhance the texture and uniformity of the strands, but this one is optional only. When we say unleavened dough, it is a recipe contains no raising agents such as yeast or baking powder. The original recipe doesn't contain any fat either.
Next is semolina pasta. So semolina pasta and durum wheat flour are traditionally used in pasta, noodles, and even some types of bread that need to have a thick or hard texture. So, extremely high in gluten. So, ito yung example natin. So, yung gluten, yun yung nagpapakapit dun sa pasta, which is kunwari, di ba, nag-harvest na. So, yung gluten na yon dun sa mismong factory, sumasama siya sa pinakagitna. Tapos, yung sa buto na yon, yun yung pinakagitna, yun yung tinatawag nating gluten. Tapos, yung gluten, yung parang pinakatinatawag din nating paste, which is yung paste na yon para hindi maghiwalay-hiwalay or madurog-durog yung pasta natin. So, next one is found in wheat, barley, and rye. So, nakikita nga siya sa mga wheat and rye na gagamitin natin kapag gumagamit tayo ng semolina pasta. Next one is pasta can come all different. Next naman is pasta can come in all different shapes and sizes without risk of failing apart. Yun nga sabi ko kanina, yung gluten kasi yung pinaka-paste niya. So kahit anong shapes, kahit anong gawin natin sa pasta natin is madikit siya or makapit siya. So for the next discussion, so sa semolina pasta, meron din tayong tinatawag na rotini. Yung rotini na yon is types din ng isang pasta or semolina pasta. Yung semolina pasta, kung makikita natin dito, yung rotini, medyo mas pabilog siya. Then, sa fusilli naman, parang parehas din siya. Yung fusilli is twisted into little spring-like shape. So, maliliit, parang spring siya na maliliit. Kasi dun kumakapit yung pinakasabaw. Kasi ginagamit yung rotini tsaka fusilli sa mga soups. Then, rotini is typically extruded into a twisted shape. So, alam na natin na yung extruded is yung mga pang-shape siya na ginagamit lang katulad ng ginagawang ganito. So, kanina nga natakal natin yung about sa extruded. Kaya, yung rotini na yun is yun yung ginagamit natin. Tapos yung sa fusilli naman, para siyang spring. So, magkaiba siya. Pero minsan, sinasabi ng mga Italian na yung rotini is fusilli din. So, pero kapag sa shapes naman ay naiiba siya. For our last four types of pasta, meron tayong whole wheat pasta. So, whole wheat pasta is made from whole wheat flour instead of commonly used semolina. So, naiiba siya. Iba yung whole wheat pasta and semolina pasta. So, it is grinding the entire wheat kernel and it is more healthier. So, eto mga example natin, dito makikita yung mga kabuuan mismo ng wheat natin. So, lahat yan sinasama. Diba kanina sa semolina pasta, yung sinasama lang natin is yung pinaka nasa loob lang niya para magkaroon siya ng paste or magdikit-dikit siya. Pero dito, lahat siya sinasama.
I have here the sauces that go with pasta. As part of the recall, we already discussed the 5 mother sauces, which are the tomato sauce, white sauce or bechamel, Espanol, Hollandaise, and Bellotti. So these are the 4 sauces that go with pasta, which are tomato sauce, cream butter or bechamel sauce, rich meat sauce, and olive oil and garlic sauces. So basically, tomato sauce is made up of particularly with tomatoes, while on the other hand, cream butter or bechamel sauce is particularly made up of roux and milk, while rich meat sauce is mainly composed of most common meat, and on the other hand, last part is olive oil and garlic sauces, which is particularly made up of, from the name itself, olive oil and garlic. So tomato sauce, when it is added on a pasta, together with rich meat sauce, it will form the what we called or the famous pasta spaghetti. While on the other hand, cream butter or bechamel sauce, when it is added on a pasta, it will form a carbonara. While the last one is olive oil and garlic sauce, when it is added on a pasta, it will form pasta aglio de olio.
Alright, thank you Sir Jason. Now we will proceed to our next topic, which is 5 common pasta. The first common pasta is spaghetti. I know that we are all familiar with spaghetti. So what is spaghetti? Spaghetti is a long cylindrical dried pasta of varying thickness and diameter, solid or hollow. The name spaghetti is also used as a generic term for all long string of extruded pasta. Therefore, ang spaghetti is a type of pasta that is a long cylindrical. So when we say long cylindrical, ito yung mahabang pasta at may bilog na shape. It is a varying thickness and diameter. So nagvary po siya depende sa kapal ng pasta. So the name spaghetti is also used as a generic term for all long strings of extruded pasta. So when we say extruded pasta, this is a type of pasta that is tube-shaped pasta. Okay, so the next common pasta is what we call tortellini. Tortellini are small rounds of pasta dough filled with fine chopped meats, parmesan, and nutmeg, then sealed and shaped into rings. So as you can see, the pictures in the PowerPoint. So tortellini is a ring-shaped Italian pasta stuffed with cheese or meat. So kung nakikita nyo na parang may laman siya sa loob, so that is the purpose of this pasta shape na may laman siya sa loob. It's either meat or cheese. And this is most traditionally served in broth. Okay, so the third common pasta is what we call ravioli. Ravioli, these are a small square of pasta dough stuffed to resemble pillows with savory or sweet filling. So parang similar siya sa tortellini, but this is a square shape like a pillow. So served in a sauce, usually garnished with grated Parmesan cheese. So a quick reminder that ravioli is an Italian cuisine that are square or round pillow shaped stuffed pasta. It is similar to dumplings. They have also a filling that can consist of cheese, meat, or vegetables. Plus, this is usually served, it's either pasta sauce or broth. And the fourth common pasta is what we call lasagna. So lasagna are sheet of pasta dough, often with strip or curly edges. So lasagna is a traditional Italian dish made with layers of pasta, meat or vegetables, and cheese, typically served with a tomato-based sauce. So this is a type of pasta sheet that kailangan pang i-bake right after palambutin para mabuo yung pasta layers niya, and that is what we call lasagna. So the last common pasta is fettuccine. Fettuccine is a long flat ribbon of pasta up to 1 centimeter wide, sometimes flavored and colored with tomato or spinach. Fettuccine is kinda similar with spaghetti, but it is different when it comes to their structure. Fettuccine is a long flat ribbon and up to 1 centimeter wide, while the spaghetti is round and cylindrically. Therefore, the common pasta dishes that fettuccine are used in chicken alfredo and carbonara.
So now we were discussing about methods of cooking pasta. First step is use the right pot. Why we need to use the right pot? To answer that question, we need to use the right pot because you need to give the noodles enough room to cook separately. Kung hindi is pwede silang umalsa at pumangit yung quality ng noodles. So we need to use the right pot. Kung gaano sila karami at kung gaano sila kaliit, dapat mini-measure natin kung ano ang gagamitin nating pot for the noodles. For the second step is to add salt. Why we need to add salt? To answer that question, we need to add salt because some people ayaw nila ng sauces sa kanilang noodles. For example, sa Italy, part ito ng diet nila, hindi sila nag-a-add ng sauce after maluto ng noodles. So, para magkalasa ng konti ang noodles, ina-add nila yung salt bago kumulo ang tubig at ilagay yung noodles. The third step is to measure the right amount. Why? Pasta, no matter what shape, can be tricky to measure out. We often do it by side or cooking the whole box. Minsan, ang mga pasta is makakapal, maninipis, at dapat natin i-measure yung tubig na ilalagay natin para gumanda yung quality ng pagluto at hindi ito magdikit-dikit. For the fourth step is stir and bring back to a boil. Need natin hintayin kumulo ang tubig bago natin ibilagay yung noodles at gamitan natin ito ng mixing tool para maluto ito ng maayos. And gently grab and pull the pasta to make sure it is not stick together.
Fifth step is test for doneness. Many recipe call the pasta until al dente, which means in Italian, to the tooth. This means pasta should be firm but chewy when we eaten. If you don't care in your pasta, pwede mo siyang lutuin ng mas matagal pa kung ayaw mo ng al dente na type ng pasta. May mga pasta na nabibili sa convenience store na may nakalagay na sa likod ng box kung paano siya lutuin at ilang oras yung pagluto sa kanya. Sixth step is reserve some cooking water. If you going to make a sauces for your pasta, you must reserve water. And pag magre-reserve tayo ng water, wag muna natin tatanggalin si pasta dun sa pinakalutuan niya. Dapat kumuha muna tayo ng water bago natin alisin yung pasta. ang cooking water, hindi lang siya nakaka-help na pagtiken ng sauce, nakaka-help din siya para mag-combine yung pasta and yung sauce. The seventh step is drain it in a colander. Once the pasta is finished cooked, you should drain it in colander para maiwasan yung pag-overcook ng pasta. So, pag nag-drain tayo ng pasta, hindi natin siya kakailanganing hugasan dahil merong natitirang starch na kung saan nakakatulong ito sa pag-thicken ng sauce and also nag-a-add siya ng flavor. At naman yung ating mga pasta, usually we can use a bigger colander na kung saan hindi masisira o mapupunit katulad na lamang ng ginagamit sa lasagna na pasta. You make sure na yung paglalagyan natin or pagpapatuluan natin ng pasta is malaki para hindi mapunit. Last step is finish pasta in the cooking sauce. So we need to put the pasta in the saucepan and make sure the pasta is 1 to 2 minutes early drained in the colander bago natin siya ilagay sa pan. Kasi nakakatulong din siya na magdikit yung sauce doon sa pasta. And stir it in a pan. Gently toss the pasta with the sauce and overheat at least 1 to 2 minutes. The technique is called pasta stracciata. We have different pasta in cooking times. So in fresh pasta, especially egg pasta, we have 3 to 5 minutes. Generally, in spaghetti pasta, we have 8 to 9 minutes.
In tin, dried durum wet or eggless pasta is about 6 to 9 minutes. In thick, dried durum pasta or eggless pasta is about 12 to 15 minutes.
For the last part of our discussion, let us jump in to what is dried and fresh pasta. But before that, let me ask you a question. Do you have encountered these kinds of pasta? Or do you ever eaten or have you eat this kind of pasta? What are your experience in terms of cooking this pasta? So later on, we will be answering those kinds of questions. But before that, this topic will cover the packaging, kung saan gawa itong pastang ito, yung shelf life, and the cooking time. So before that, let us define first what is dry and fresh pasta. So dried pasta is what we buy in the box. On the other hand, fresh pasta can be packaged in bags or plastic containers. So what we usually buy on the stores na naka-plastic is those are the fresh pasta. While on the other hand, yung mga dried pasta naman, yung mga dried pasta naman, but instead of dried pasta is usually placed or nakalagay siya sa box. Fresh pasta cooks in time it takes for the water to reach the second boil. So make sure you don't overcook it. Dried pasta takes longer depending on thickness and shape. In terms of cooking, kung gaano katagal lutuin yung mga pasta na to, mas matagal lutuin si dried pasta compared kay fresh pasta. Dried pasta took 5 to 10 minutes for it to cook, while on the other hand, fresh pasta, it only took 2 to 3 minutes for it to cook. So saan nga ba gawa itong dalawang types of flour na to? Dried pasta is made up of flour, semolina, and water. While on the other hand, fresh pasta is made of flour, semolina, but instead of water, it uses egg. That is why it needs to consume pagkabukas compared to dry pasta, since dry pasta is dumaan na siya sa dry process. That concludes our discussion in preparing pasta. We are the group 2. Hope you learned a lot.